So what I want to do now is to create another set of layers, and this time instead of naming all of these items like walls or glass or stairs or lofts, I'm going to indicate the name by how I want the lines to look. So if I go and open up the layers property manager, I will now let's go to the 0 layer so that it'll copy this set of settings. Create a new layer. Layer 1, I'm going to rename that as, let's say, super thick. Or actually, L line, super thick. Okay. Create another layer and call it line thick. And then create another line or another layer and call it line mid. Select another layer and line thin, and create another layer and call it line super thin. Okay, if I leave it just as is, the next time I open this up, all of these go into a what is it? List by alphabetical order. So if I want to keep it as, let's say the super thin is the thinnest, maybe put 1 in front of it. And then, oh, that's super thick, huh? Super thin. This must be the super thin. Let's expand this so that I know. Super thin, okay. So I could rename that as 1, and then I'll go to thin line as, let's say, 2. And then the midline, I could type in 3 in there somewhere. And then go into the thick line and name it 4. And then the super thick, I could name it 5. Whoops. 5. If I do that, what's going to happen is those layers gonna, or they should have appeared in the correct order. Yeah, there it goes. So line 1, super thin, thin, mid, thick. That way I could just select the thickness of the line just by looking at this wall type, or the layer type. And we will change the line weights of these a little bit later. Okay. But first thing we want to do is to change the elevations. The windows that we have we'll keep as the glass. So the things that are closest to you, we like to turn that into, let's say, thick. Okay. And then the ground line as super thick. Okay, what we probably should have done is to change the color of all these so that we can at least tell which color is what, or which layer is what that I'm changing it to. And again, the color doesn't really matter. Okay, so at least I could say that this one right here is thick. It's too close to the glass, so we'll change that again. Okay, and go ahead and change all of those lines into the thick layer. All of these lines right here might also go to the thick layer. We'll again, we might evaluate that as we check plot the thing. Okay. And we'll have to do something about this, but we'll do it when we check the plot. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is do a similar thing, basically making, well, let's do this now. So this right here will be maybe super, not thin. So this one was mid, so this one will be thin, okay? So keep that pretty much as this configuration right here. This configuration that we have with the glass layer and the for the thick layer, we'll do the similar situation with all of the elevation that has a glass on there. Okay, so for this one, make it just like this. For all of these, make it just like this one right here. And all the elevation should look pretty much like how we have it in this situation. Okay, so make your glass mullions and your glass layer, and then the thin line right there, and the rest of it being the thick line, with the ground line being the thickest.